Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us from near and from far. I see Anne joining us from Norway, Joe from London, UK, Lisa from South Florida. Let's see, we have Kathy from Ontario. What's the weather like where you all are? Is it cold and blustery? Are you staying in to do some genealogy with us because of the weather? We hope that you would tune in anyways, even if the weather was gorgeous outside. But thank you all for joining us. We have a fabulous session lined up for you today. We're going to be doing a genealogy question and answer period. And we have our favorite genealogist, our favorite genealogy expert with us, joining us today. Before we get to the session today, I'll let you know about a few things that we have going on here at MyHeritage. We just announced today an update to MyHeritage DNA labels, DNA match labels. So we posted a blog today on the MyHeritage blog, blog.myheritage.com. You can read all about the update where we improved the labels that we recently added to DNA matches on MyHeritage. So this is going to be a real improvement for anyone that is a DNA user on MyHeritage. For those of you who don't know, if you've taken a DNA test in other services, it's very, very easy to upload a DNA test to MyHeritage and enjoy all those wonderful features, such as DNA matches that we describe in the blog. So we'll put a link to that update in the comments section. And if you're a DNA user, we hope that you'll check it out and enjoy those DNA match labels. They are very, very useful, and they can really help you pinpoint your research and find new directions. So besides for that, we also have a holiday DNA sale going on. It's still early enough that you could get your DNA kits for the holidays. So now's the time to put in those orders. We'll put a link to that sale as well in the comments section so you can take advantage of it. If you've taken a DNA kit, it's a DNA test, it's still a great opportunity to get one for everyone else in your family and make sure that everyone has tested. And maybe you can ask our expert today why that is such good advice to get everyone tested in your family. So we'd also like to start a draw today for a complete plan on MyHeritage that we'll be giving out today at the end of today's session. So in order to enter, all that you have to do is just leave a comment in the comment section and let us know what you hope to accomplish in your family history, with your family history research this Christmas or this winter season, if you're going to be home a lot and spending time with family. If you're able to, if you're not able to, maybe you'll just have some extra time on your own. So please let us know in the comments section, what you plan on accomplishing with your family history, whether it be, interviewing older family members, whatever it is, let us know. We'd love to hear your answers. And we'll be giving away one MyHeritage complete plan to a lucky winner at the end of today's session. So let us know, how MyHeritage is going to help you accomplish those goals over the holidays. We'd love to hear that. So now, without further ado, I would like to introduce our speaker today. We have with us Daniel Horowitz. He is MyHeritage's expert genealogist. He's always a pleasure to have on our Facebook Lives. Of course, he does his own sessions quite often as well. Here, let me bring him onto the show to say hello. Hello, Daniel.
Hello, Esther. Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. I would like to know who is your least genealogy expert person, but I'm not going to put you on the spot here. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure for me to be in your Facebook Lives, sometimes mine as well. And I'm very happy to see all the people from really all over the world. I think I saw also people from Australia, which probably woke up very early in the morning to be here. And I'm waiting for all your questions to come in the chat and being able to answer.
Yeah, so please leave us comments and questions here. We'd love to start answering some genealogy questions. That's why we brought Daniel in. So please let us know what are your brick walls, what's troubling you, what we can help you with. And we'll start off, Daniel, just before the questions start coming in. We'll start off just your number one tip to a new user, a new MyHeritage user.
Well, definitely has to be to start building the tree. And although that is why MyHeritage encourage you to do on the registration process, it shouldn't stop right there. You should try to go and to search for more information, to try to complete all the fields that MyHeritage provide you there. And I'm talking about birth, marriage, and death, dates and places. Those are the basics. And if you're just starting into genealogy, that is what you should be looking for. And I'm talking about for each of the individuals in your family tree. Don't just go up the ladder with your parents, grandparents, and great grandparents. Sometimes those brick walls and those problems that you will have, it will be solved by probably uncles, cousins, or brothers and sisters of any of your ancestors. So try to put as many people as you can with as much information as you can get.
Okay, great advice. Let's see, we have a question here. Josiah said, we have tested already 3 members of our family. It looks like we are a mixture of not only Eastern European genes, but also a bit of Swedish, Italian, and US roots. I do wonder, what does it mean exactly that I'm 13% Swedish? So what do all those ethnicities, and the fact that you could have very different results from the rest of your family members?
So, yeah, first we need to understand what the ethnicity estimation stands for. It means that your DNA resembles to a database of DNA that we have from our own. MyHeritage did his own founders population project. We took I think it was 500 or 1,000 people. We expanded later, of people that have family trees with proven connections on the 4 grandparents on the same place, and that will make you an 100% from that place. And I have seen people 100% Swedish or 100% Italian, for example. So what we do is we take your DNA and we compare to that, what I like to call the ruler, to measure how much your DNA resembles that DNA from the sample. Now, remember that your autosomal DNA, which is the DNA type that MyHeritage analyze, can reflect up to 10 generations back. So it means that your DNA may have again the ethnicity of those ancestors of you. And every time you step back into those ancestors, you lose 50% of your DNA. So if we're talking about 20% being from a specific area, I think Swedish was the example that you asked, it means that probably one of your grandparents or great grandparents had DNA very similar or identical to those in Sweden. Now you need to take in account probably the person didn't born in that place. But again, we're talking about the DNA that was passed from parents to kids. So one of your ancestors, probably 4 or 5 generations back, was probably from the area. And that is why that we are allowed and able to tell you that your ethnicity resembles the ethnicity of the Swedish or any other of all the groups that we have today. And yes, and let me already start because I think I saw one person asking over there. I do know that the team is working very hard to update the ethnicity estimations and the genetic groups very soon. So those numbers may change because as we get more DNA into the database, we can change a little bit those estimations that we gave you up till now.
Okay, great. We have a question here from Judy. Getting back to genealogy and the family tree, how do I start the paternal side of a tree when the closest match is a first cousin? So how do you put a cousin into your family tree when you don't know where or to whom they're attached? So those
Okay.
family members that you might discover and you know they're related to you, but you don't know where yet. So what's the general rule of where you put them in the family tree?
So I'm first of all I'm guessing that what was her name, Esther? I'm sorry.
It was Judy.
Judy. Okay, so I guess that Judy is trying to build a family tree based on the DNA matches, and it's possible. It is possible, but you need to have at least a point of comparison. And we were talking about before, like testing many people in the family. And the reason for that is exactly that, to be able to allocate those cousins. So if you test, let's say, one of your parents, all the common matches that you will have with that parent will come from that branch. And if you don't have it in that list, it means that it's come from the parent that you haven't match or you haven't test. If you have a cousin that you know, again, it's from a specific branch, and this one that you don't know who he is or she is, matches also that cousin, that can tell you that this is the branch, again, that you should be locating the relative. Now, if you don't have any clue, you can simply guess and build that tree and probably put a question mark or any type of mark saying, I'm not sure if this is the relationship or how I am related to the person. You can add individuals without a name. And for example, if I will be adding a cousin, a first cousin, that's it, I need to have at least a sibling of one of my parents in order to connect and to have in my tree that cousin. So it is kind of complicated, and you will have like a very empty tree if you're trying to guess the different places, and probably later on you will need to move that individual when you realize it's not from your paternal grandmother but from your maternal grandfather. And it's possible also to move it. And I will suggest you just to start slowly with the individuals that you know and try to find the common branches that you have with that cousin in order to be able to allocate the person in the right place. Do you have more questions, Esther?
Oh, there we go. Just a reminder to everyone to let us know how you plan on using MyHeritage to tackle your family history research this holiday season for your chance to win a MyHeritage Complete plan. And that's the best plan we have to offer on MyHeritage. Access to, I think it's 16 now, Daniel, 16 billion historical records.
Yes, we just broke that milestone just a couple of days ago. I was tired saying 15, 15. So finally, yes, we reached 16 billion records. And that is one of the things that I will be doing during this winter season, because we have a lot of new records that I haven't searched or researched. So I'm going to take some time to do that.
Okay, great. So here's another question. Let's see. From Melody. She asks, how do I add a father and a mother of a child that had a child together but are not married? When I add it, it normally shows as a spouse, and family members get very upset at this.
Well, I totally understand. And today we have all kind of relationships. And the good news is that MyHeritage supports any type of relationship that you will want. Now, by default, yes, whenever you add a parent or another person, let's say a partner, we will classify it as a spouse. So what you need to do, very simple, you go to the basic details of one of those individuals, okay, either the father or the mother. And over there, when the pop-ups open, you will have information for the name, birth, the death, and then below it's the information about the person. Right there, I'm sorry, about the relationship with the other person. Right there, you should be seeing husband or wife and the name of the person, and then a space for the relationship. And by default, as I said, you will see married. But when you click over there, it is a drop down menu, and you will be able to see different options. You will have divorce, you will have separate, widowed, engaged, partnered, friends, even unknown and other. And you can very easily choose whatever suits your research and your family tree without any problem. And the only change that actually you're going to notice is that the line between those people, instead of being a straight line, is going to be a cutted line, like a small, like dots or small lines. Yeah, like cutted lines in between of them, and that is what's going to give you visually information that that couple is not married. Next one.
Okay. Next one we have from Janet. So it's about a story of, I guess, a brick wall with her biological grandmother. She says, I'm hoping to find my biological grandmother. I have her in the 1911 census. The next time I found her is her death in 1948. She changed her Christian name sometime in between those years. Would there be anywhere her name change would be registered? On her death certificate, it states she was married, but I cannot find a marriage for her. I've sent a couple of marriage. I have sent for a couple of marriage certificates. Unfortunately, kind of that track of keeping track of them over the years, even with that change.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a problem, and it's even a bigger problem when they don't do that officially. And it will depend a lot on the countries and the laws by the time. Not always a name change was registered. Sometimes the person just took another name and it started going by that name, and probably somebody asked him at one point, what's your name, and he decided to change. And it's almost impossible, if the name change was not registered, is almost impossible to track. Now, if the person is dead, you are lucky actually, because, and that's why I love all my dead relatives. Not because they don't bother me, but because I know exactly where they are. And you need to go back in time. So if you have the burial and you have also the administration of the cemetery, the guys that actually took care of the burial, they should have already information, paperwork, a death certificate, okay, and probably also copies of the marriage certificate. Even back in the good old days, they had to provide, the family members had to provide a lot of paperwork in order to be able to bury a person. Now, remember, especially looking for women, that whenever they died, if they were married, they will be registered and buried with the married last name or surname, okay? Not with the maiden name. So you will not find them with the last name that they were born. Now, again, the changing of a first name or a given name, sometimes it kept a little bit of the original name some way or the other. And I remember from the question that she had a Christian name and then she changed it. So again, she should have some relationship between the previous name and the last name, and try to go back. Just if she died in a specific time, and not necessarily the marriage also happened in the same state or the same place where she died. So you also will need to try to guess with probably directories or phone books where she lived at specific places, and try those places for the marriage certificate. Probably National Archives may have copy of that documents, or the place where she lived may also have a local or state or county archive that may hold a copy of the record. Now, if you explain to them that you're a genealogist and that you're looking for your family, and you have the name of the spouse, like one of them, like the husband, for example, and you ask nicely, and they have time, but today in Corona times, I'm not sure how much time they have to dedicate to that. Sometimes I have been lucky enough, and they went like page by page on a particular year, and they try to match my request to the documents that they have. It's just a little bit of patience and a lot of luck.
Okay. We have a question here from Christian who asks, are death certificates easy to get?
Well, definitely they are easier than other documents because the person is already dead. So privacy is a little bit less strict. But I think that, again, in depending the country and the state, sometimes you need to provide so many details, or almost all the details that appear in the death certificate, that there is no reason why to request that death certificate.
So this is also a common question that comes up. We actually discussed this recently. We had a Facebook Live with Ron Sneer, our Director of Product Management in charge of DNA at MyHeritage, and he spoke a lot about the new DNA match labels, but he also got the question quite a few times, when is the new ethnicity estimate on MyHeritage coming out? And I know you addressed it earlier, but I see another question here from Jamie. So we'll just address it once more. Do we have a rough date or month for when MyHeritage will release their ethnicity estimate? So it was supposed to be, we obviously are in a rush to get it out, of course, because we know it's very important to all of our users. But we are working really hard to make sure that it's perfect before it goes out. So we do not yet have a date, but we do hope it's coming soon. And just follow our blog, blog.myheritage.com, and of course, all of our Facebook Lives. And as soon as it is out, we will have a Facebook Live, I'm sure, about it, and a blog post. And we're very excited that it will be coming out soon, but we do not yet have a date. Let's see. Should we tackle another question?
Yeah, sure. And actually, I'm seeing a lot of people also collaborating and telling us how they are planning to spend the rest of the winter on the genealogy research. And I understand that a lot of people will be very busy planning dinners and parties and having family. So my recommendation to all of you is, like, take the time when you are gathering with those family members to ask them questions, and to make sure that the information that you know is accurate, or maybe prepare some questions in advance so you can ask them. Now, don't think to do like an interrogatory, like it's not a police question here, but just a few subjects or questions that you would like to know more, and then go to the website and fill that information, and hopefully it will trigger some of those smart matches and record matches that that we provide. But yeah, if you haven't told us how you plan to do your research during this winter, go ahead. Sorry, Esther, do you have more questions?
Yeah, so I did see a question that came up a couple times earlier. And the question was, I know we've had whole Facebook Live sessions about this, but maybe you can just give us, on one foot, um, about, when you contact DNA matches and they're unresponsive. So obviously on MyHeritage, we do pride ourselves that, most of the people who do have DNA kits on MyHeritage also have family trees, and they are, committed and invested in their family history research. But what do you do when you reach out to a DNA match and you receive no response? How can you how can you proceed from there?
Well, I know that it's very frustrating, and not everybody understands it, but think that it is like a regular phone. Okay, you can call and the person decide if it answers or not. And the person may not answer for multiple reasons. So one of the things that I definitely will suggest you to do is keep trying. Maybe if the first email for whatever reason didn't reach, or it reached on a bad time, probably a couple of weeks or months after that, it will be better and you can write back. Now, another tip that I have, and it actually happened to me, is try to give a little bit of information, but don't overwhelm the person. Okay, you don't need to tell the person the whole story of your life and the match, but also for example, will not answer any email that's saying, hey, we have a DNA match. I would like to talk with you. Well, yeah, I manage about 15 DNA kits. And I'm sorry, if you don't tell me at least on which branch or with which person, and even if it's with me personally, give me a little bit of information, because sometimes, for example, people get very excited for a 0.5% match. I like to talk in percentages, but a very small common DNA match. And those are really hard to find out, at least if both individuals don't have a family tree. And sometimes, very unfortunate, people just uploaded their DNA for the ethnicity, or they took a DNA test for the ethnicity. They are not interested in genealogy, and no matter what we will do, they will not answer. So then just move along. Try to check also probably common DNA matches. Probably somebody else knows this person as well. It's the cousin or second cousin twice removed. And the third person will be able to lead you to the right individual. Any other questions, Esther? She's busy reading the questions now. Okay, I can read a few of the comments here, and I see that a lot of people are very happy with the DNA labels. That's definitely another thing to do during this winter. I know I had already time before you. I'm sorry, have to have some benefits working for MyHeritage. I did already a lot of classifications with the DNA labels, and I marked my common matches, and I have all my 4 branches, 4 grandparents identified, so I'm able to classify it and to research a little bit in deep into each of the branches as I go with the DNA. Let's see, Esther, do you have any other questions over there?
Can you hear me now?
We hear you perfectly.
Okay, great. I think there was some technical difficulty getting back in. Okay, I think it looks like it's reset, so I'm back. So basically, we have this question that came in on YouTube, and I'll read it here. I'm not exactly sure what the name is, but this user says, some ancestors have varied names. Some are official and some are not. Sometimes official records, such as death certificates and marriage licenses, have mistakes. So how do you search for these names and all, through historical records, and also which name should be used on the tree? The nickname, the official name?
Okay, so let's start with the end, okay? In your family tree, you should use all the names that you have. There is space for that. In fact, when you go to your tree and you click on the pencil in the card of the person in the tree, you will see a space for first and middle name and last name. But here's the trick. At the bottom of that pop-up, you will have a text that reads edit more. And when you click over there, edit more, the first window that it's going to open, it's going to have a section called names. And over there, you will be able to use an AKA or an alias or a nickname or a religious name, or even if you know that the person had a former name and it changed officially or not, you can use it over there, and all those names will appear and will be recorded into your family tree. So that's recommendation number one. Now, the fact that you put your names on the family tree will help MyHeritage, or MyHeritage will help you with the matches, because we will take into account all those names that you are using in your tree. Now, if you want to do a search manually for those records, I have a couple of recommendations. Number one, use all the names that you have. Well, depending what are you looking for. Again, if we're talking about a birth certificate, you will not find it under the new name or the changed name or the married name. You're going to find it under the name that the person was born with. If you're looking for a death certificate or death information, it's probably the married name or the changed name. That's number one. Now, try to use also wild characters when you're searching, or shortened names. For example, if you're looking for Jonathan, don't search necessarily or always by Jonathan. You can use John. And those 3-4 letters that you put over there should be able to bring you results. Now, the good news is that when you search on MyHeritage, you really don't need to use wild characters or have any concerns for the names, because the MyHeritage technology automatically will change and will look for similar names. It will look for names with a typo. Okay, I a lot of times write Jonathan without the H, or I misplace the H and the A, and then it's not the right name. And if the technology doesn't know how to fix that or to take that into account, then the results are not going to be accurate. More than that, if you have relatives with records or family trees in other languages, MyHeritage will also transliterate those names internally in order to find the right records that could be in Greek or Hebrew or Cyrillic for Russian and Ukrainian, and will still bring you the right results. So that is what I suggest you to do. And the fact that you didn't find anything today doesn't mean that you cannot go back in a couple of months and try again, because new records are always coming out.
Yep, and just to talk about those new records, we're really releasing new records every single day, Daniel. And that's how we moved up to 16 billion just now.
Yeah, the last ones I remember was an update to a German collection and to the Swiss household Swedish household records over there. A lot of French records also came lately. And I have seen the list of the ones coming in the next couple of weeks and months. So very interesting records to expect.
Incredible. We have a question here from Carol who said, sorry, I can't watch right now. I'll watch it later. So just to let everyone know, these Facebook Lives are available to watch afterwards on the MyHeritage Facebook page under the videos section. So just in case you want to rewatch or you miss any of it, it is definitely available for you, as well as all of our previous Facebook Lives about all these different subjects. So if you hear a subject, like we spoke about contacting DNA matches or ethnicities, using the family tree a little bit. There's so many different topics that we've spoken about specifically in Facebook Lives. So definitely check that out. We have a question here from Janet, and she asks, I want to get my uncle's DNA reports. He has given me permission, but he is not doing any genealogy anymore.
Okay, so what is the problem? If you manage his DNA and you have the DNA associated with your uncle, let's call it individual in the family tree, you can keep filling the information for him. You can ask him about his parents, his grandparents, and if you know any other relative, you can expand your family tree to that uncle and be the guardian or the genealogist for that area of the tree without any problem.
Okay, great. And just a reminder to everyone here about our draw that we have at the end of today's show. So make sure to leave a comment about how you're going to use MyHeritage to work on your family history and genealogy during the holidays. So many, as Daniel was saying, so many really, really great entries already. So please leave us a comment and let us know. Let's see what else we have here to answer. Daniel, I see Lloyd asked, do you have any suggestions for searching matches to get an exact rather than contains? I've tried to isolate the particle, Vaughn, for example, and I get Yvonne. So an exact match, how do we do that?
Very easy. When you type the name into the search engine, you will see a little pop-up that comes below the name, and we will ask you if you want exact or not. And if you say exact, that is what we're going to search for. So just make sure that both the surname and the given name are marked exact. Now, Lloyd, you have another problem because the particle von or phon, depending how you would like to pronounce, not always is part of the surname, and it means from. So if you're searching only for that part, you are gonna get a gazillion of records of German people and Austrian people and all those people con phone whatever thing. Okay, just make sure to put it under the last name because the phone particle is part of the last name, not the first name. But definitely, I will not suggest you to use that as your search parameter.
Josiah asks, he says, do you use local databases in your historical records? And he says he's trying to find his mother's real grandparents and their path leads to France. So first of all, good news. We're coming out with lots and lots of new French historical records, Josiah, so you can check those out, and literally every day there's new collections coming out on MyHeritage. And what that means is you can search for them in the MyHeritage research section, but also you should be getting record matches to those collections. So Daniel, do you want to explain for a moment about record matches and what that means for people who have entered their family tree on MyHeritage?
Yes, definitely. I love those because let's be honest, matches are made for lazy people. We were talking about Lloyd's question of searching, and I already explained how to use the search engine. But the matches is something that you don't need to do anything. Just by having a family tree on MyHeritage, they're going to be triggered and they're going to connect you either to other people that are also building family trees, and we may have found the same individual in both trees, or the records for that person. Okay, so normally what I do is I take a branch of the family or a specific individual, and I go over his or hers smart matches and record matches. I try to contact the other admin of the tree, and I ask him questions like where and how do you got information for that individual. And when there are record matches, I just simply open the record and try to read and analyze the record. And once I'm sure that this is my person, because you always need to really make sure that although the last name or the given name and other details may be the same, it may not be your person. So once you're completely sure that this is your person, I accept the match, and then I start to extracting the information from the record or from the tree into my tree, which is very easy because it's just clicking on some arrows where MyHeritage is telling me that I am missing information, and I just add that to my tree, and I will get a source citation for that information. And that is how one of the ways that you can grow your family tree. Now, Esther, I don't know if you see one of the questions coming from YouTube that I would like to answer from Sander.
Sure.
Sander is asking, how do you change a profile photo from photos already in the gallery? So I'm gonna guess that Sander has a lot of pictures uploaded to MyHeritage, and like in my case, probably I have all pictures of kids that they grown up, and I have new images that I would like to use. So Sander is actually very easy. Step number one, you need to go to the profile page of the person, okay? And that can be done from the left panel that opens on the tree. So that's number one. Another option will be in that same left panel, you will see a circle on the upper left corner, and you can click on that circle over there that you will see a camera, and a pop-up window will appear where you have the image, and you will have an option to clear the profile photo. It doesn't matter if you do it right from here or you go to the profile. That is step number one, to clear the profile image or the main picture that you have for that person. After that, you can go into any of the images that you have previously uploaded and tag that person. Now here you have two scenarios. Option A, the person is not tagged, so you will be generating a new tag of an individual not mentioned on the picture up till now. The option number B is that probably you already tagged that person in the picture. So no worries, just go and say edit the tag and click on that individual to re-tag him on the picture, and move a little bit, like fine-tune the borders of the tag, and that will re-tag the person and will take that as the profile picture, and from now on that will be the new image that you will see every time we mention that person in your family tree or in any other place of the website at MyHeritage.
Okay, so are you okay with taking one last question here, Daniel?
Sure, no problem.
Okay, so we'll take a question from Barry, who said, I've been unsuccessful at finding my grandmother listed on anything besides her birth index, marriage license, and birth of her kids. She was born in 1925 in North Carolina. I'm curious why I have not found her listed with her mother on any census. So I guess, why would somebody be left off of a census record? And what does it mean if we can't find them on a census?
Well, I do know that some people lived with uncles or aunts or other family members. Some people maybe were working at home of other people in order to gain a little bit of money, depending on the possibilities of the family, like a nanny or an au pair or different jobs that especially women, but also men in some cases did in other places. So when the census taker came to the house, the kid was not there, was not with the parents, so it was not listed on the census, and it was actually listed with the family that they were working with. That will be one option. The other option, and I have seen a few of them, is that simply the person wasn't that day at the house. And I know it sounds strange, but will the mother forget about the daughter and not mention it on the census? Well, again, it depends. It's not that they forgot about it, but if the person asks how many people are here, okay, and the mother just said 1, 2, 3, probably number 4 or 5, they were not at the house at the moment, and they were just missed on the census. If you have the household, you should be able to find it. Another issue will be if you cannot find any families in the census, that may lead that they will be recorded in a different address or with a different names, and those are a little bit more difficult to search. What I would do anyhow is once you find the family that you're looking for, try to just move up and down the block and see probably there are other relatives and they were living with, again, the uncle a couple of numbers down the street, or they were working a couple of blocks away for another family. It's just an issue of going page by page on the census. Sometimes it's a totally different state, and then you have, of course, more problems.
Okay, so now we have the fun job of giving away a MyHeritage Complete Plan to one lucky winner. So we're very, very excited about that. Just to tell everyone again, what makes the MyHeritage Complete Plan so special, Daniel?
Well, first of all, is the top of the top. It means it will give you everything that MyHeritage has to offer. You will not only get the matches that you will get anyhow, but you will be able to contact the other admin on the smart matches. You will get the records. You will be able to go into the record and see the actual image of the record and extract all the information from the match, from the record or the other family tree into your tree. If you have a DNA, you will be able to see all the features that we have for the DNA. You will be able to use labels to contact other people through the DNA. And more important, you will get priority support. So anytime that you have a question, you can go and you can write an email or even by phone support, and you will identify yourself. We will see that you have a complete account, and you will get priority support.
I see Jamie wrote here, I have the complete plan. It's great. Love the photo tools. So you forgot about the photo tools, Daniel.
Oh, yes, there is a limitation on that as well. I think it's about 5 or 10 photos. I don't remember that anymore
For basic.
because I have a complete plan myself. So, yeah, I totally forgot about that. So, yeah, the complete plan will allow you to do unlimited enhancements to your images, colorizing, repairing, and also very important for many people out there, unlimited amount of individuals in the family tree. So if you have more than 1,000 people, no worries, the complete plan has you covered.
I think that's what I'll be doing this holiday season is taking out all of the old family photos and, scanning them, uploading them to MyHeritage, colorizing, enhancing them. And, when you show them back to the family, they just are in awe of, how incredible these photos come out using the MyHeritage tools. So that's my favorite thing to do in my spare time. Okay, great. So we're excited to give away this complete plan to one lucky winner. And the winner of today's prize is William Watson. And William wrote to us and said, over the holidays, I look forward to connecting with my known family, identifying new DNA matches, and also working more to figure out ancestors for my sister's partner's mother, as she was adopted, and we have no information on her family. The only clues we have for her come through her DNA matches. So, William, good luck with that.
Excellent, excellent, yes.
Yeah, and we hope that you enjoy this complete plan. And we'll be in touch with you through private message to claim your prize. Thank you to everyone who gave us, amazing ideas of what you're doing over the holidays with your family history research. And we love seeing all the inspiration for genealogy that's being spread here in this Facebook Live. And thank you, Daniel, for joining us today.
Always a pleasure, Esther. Whenever you need, whenever you want, I'm here because I enjoy also very much reading all the comments and all the questions and seeing people from all over the world enjoying MyHeritage as well. So thank you very much. And everybody, take good care of yourselves.
Yeah, take care, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.